You've heard the name: lost civilization, advanced technology, catastrophic end. But here's what nobody tells you about Atlantis. Every single detail comes from one man writing around 350 BCE. Plato, not ancient records, not multiple sources. One philosopher in Athens using it as a political allegory. Yet, for over 2,000 years, explorers have died searching for it. Governments have funded expeditions. Scientists have mapped ocean floors. Why does a fictional island grip humanity harder than documented empires that actually fell? The mystery isn't whether Atlantis existed. The mystery is why we need it too. If you value documented ancient history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from Plato's Timaeus and Critias dialogues and archaeological evidence from the Bronze Age collapse. Now back to the story. Number 1, the birth of a legend, 350 BCE. Athens. Plato sits in the academy. He's writing Timaeus and Critias, 2 dialogues, political philosophy disguised as ancient history. He needs an enemy for his ideal state to fight, something noble, something lost, something that proves his point about power corrupting civilization. So he invents Atlantis, 9,000 years before his time. Beyond the Pillars of Hercules, an island larger than Libya and Asia combined, ring-shaped, concentric circles of water and land, gold-covered temples, ships that number in the thousands. The details are precise, almost archaeological. Inner island diameter of 50 stadia, about 6 miles. 3 harbors, hot and cold springs, elephants roaming freely. A confederation of 10 kings descended from Poseidon himself. They meet every 5 to 6 years in the central temple. They hunt a sacred bull with staves and nooses only. No iron weapons. Blood mixed with wine in a golden crater. Oaths sworn over the sacrifice. Then hubris. The kings grow proud, greedy. They attack Athens 9,000 years ago. Athens alone defeats the mighty confederation. Both civilizations sink into the sea in a single day and night. Divine punishment, complete destruction. The island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths of the sea. Plato's exact words in Timaeus. For which reason the sea in those parts is impassable and impenetrable. Cold detail. No survivors, no ruins, no trace. Accused, written, believed. Number 2. The search begins, 1st century BCE, Mediterranean waters. Strabo. The geographer reads Plato. He's not buying it. He who invented it also destroyed it, Strabo writes around 7C. The Roman knows fiction when he sees it, but others disagree. Crantor of Soli claims Egyptian priests showed Plato ancient records. Proclus insists the story came from sacred archives in Sais. Plutarch mentions Atlantis as historical fact. The confusion spreads. Church fathers debate it. Jerome calls it philosophical fiction. Others see divine judgment. By 400 CE, most scholars dismiss it. But the story survives. Copies. Translations. Medieval monks preserve Plato's dialogues in monastery libraries. Then 1500 CE changes everything. Columbus reaches America. New lands beyond known waters. Maybe Plato wasn't lying. Maybe he was describing the Americas. Francis Bacon publishes New Atlantis in 1627. The search officially begins. Expeditions launch. Maps are drawn. Every unexplored coast becomes a candidate. The Caribbean, the Azores, the Canaries. Each discovery sparks new theories. Each disappointment fuels more searching. The obsession costs lives. Spanish conquistadors search Caribbean islands. Portuguese navigators map Atlantic archipelagos. Dutch explorers probe Arctic waters. No concentric rings, no gold temples, no elephant bones, but the searching never stops. If you value documented ancient history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from Plato's Timaeus and Critias dialogues and archaeological evidence from the Bronze Age collapse. Now back to the story. Found, lost, searched. Number 3, the Santorini connection, 1600 BCE, Aegean Sea, 1967. Greek archaeologist Spiridon Marinatos starts digging on Thera, modern Santorini, volcanic island, crescent-shaped. Something massive happened here. The question is when. He finds Akrotiri, Bronze Age settlement, 2 stories high, frescoes on the walls, running water, sophisticated drainage, no bodies, no treasure. The people left before the end came, but what an end it was. The volcano exploded around 1600 BCE. maybe the loudest sound in human history, ash column reaches 25 miles high. Pyroclastic flows race across water at 400 miles per hour. Tsunamis hit Crete 90 miles away. Waves over 300 feet high. The Minoan civilization never recovers. Palace at Knossos abandoned. Trade networks collapse. Linear, a script disappears. An entire Bronze Age empire erased in months. Could this be Plato's Atlantis? The timeline doesn't work. Plato said 9,000 years before Solon. That puts Atlantis around 9,600 BCE. But what if he meant 900? A scribal error. Egyptian hieroglyphs confused. Hundreds became thousands. The parallels multiply. Minoan Crete had advanced technology, flush toilets, multi-story buildings, extensive maritime trade, bull worship central to religion. Sudden catastrophic end around 1500 BCE matches, Bronze Age collapse. But problems remain. Crete isn't beyond the Pillars of Hercules. It's in the Aegean. No concentric rings, no confederation of 10 kings. The details don't align. Still, Santorini becomes the most popular Atlantis candidate. Tourism boards promote it. Documentary crews film it. The island economy thrives on the connection. The search continues elsewhere. Buried, erupted, promoted. Number 4, the Atlantic Floor Search, 1975, deep ocean waters. Soviet research vessel Petr Lebedev cruises the Atlantic Ridge. Hydroacoustic equipment maps the seafloor. Looking for Atlantis, Moscow funds the expedition. Cold War science with legendary goals. The ridge system spans the entire Atlantic. Underwater mountain range. Volcanic activity. Some peaks break the surface. The Azores. Iceland. Ascension Island. Could Atlantis be a sunken peak? A massive landslide? Continental drift evidence? The sonar reveals nothing. No ruins. No artificial structures. Just basalt and sediment. Millions of years of geological formation. No evidence of recent submersion. But technology improves. Side-scan sonar, deep-sea photography. Submersibles reach crushing depths. Every expedition reveals more ocean floor detail. Every map eliminates more potential sites. Robert Ballard finds the Titanic in 1985. If he can locate a ship 2.5 miles down, surely someone can find an entire civilization. The search technology exists. The funding follows. Private expeditions multiply. Satellite imagery analyzes shallow waters. Ground-penetrating radar scans potential sites. Marine archaeologists join the hunt. Universities offer degrees in underwater archaeology. Results remain consistent. No Atlantis, no concentric rings, no submerged cities matching Plato's description. The Atlantic floor holds many secrets. Atlantis isn't one of them. The mystery deepens. If not in the Atlantic, where else? Mapped, scanned, missing. Number 5, the Antarctica theory, 11,600 BCE, southern ice sheets. Charles Hapgood publishes Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings in 1966. His theory sounds impossible. Antarctica was ice-free until recent geological time. Advanced civilization mapped the continent before the ice formed. The Peary Race map from 1513 shows Antarctic coastline details unknown until modern surveys. Could this be Atlantis? A civilization that flourished when Antarctica was habitable? Crustal displacement shifted the continent south. Rapid climate change, ice formation, complete burial under miles of frozen water. The timeline almost works. Plato's 9,600 BCE matches the end of the last ice age. Massive climate changes, sea level rises, entire coastlines submerged. If Atlantis existed, then it would be buried under ice or water now. Graham Hancock popularizes the theory in Fingerprints of the Gods in 1995. Bestseller status, television documentaries. The Antarctica connection captures public imagination, but science doesn't support it. Ice core samples show Antarctica was frozen much earlier. Geological evidence contradicts recent crustal shifts. The Peary Race map likely shows South American coastline, not Antarctica. Satellite radar penetrates Antarctic ice. Ground-penetrating technology maps subglacial topography. No cities, no ruins, no artificial structures. Just bedrock and ice formation dating back millions of years. The search moves elsewhere again. Frozen, mapped, eliminated. Number 6, the Richet structure discovery, 2008, Mauritanian desert. Google Earth changes everything. Satellite imagery reaches civilian computers. Armchair explorers scan the globe from their homes. Then someone spots it. The Eye of the Sahara, the Richet structure in Mauritania, 25 miles across, perfect concentric rings. Almost exactly what Plato described. The formation sits in the middle of the Sahara Desert, 400 miles from the Atlantic coast. But this is interesting. Satellite analysis reveals ancient river channels. The area was once underwater, much wetter climate. Rivers flowed toward the ocean. Maybe this was an island when sea levels were higher. Geological surveys begin immediately. The rings are natural. Erosional dome structure, Cretaceous limestone and sandstone, 40 million years old minimum. No signs of ancient construction, no artifacts, no human settlement before recent Berber camps. But the believers aren't deterred. The measurements fit Plato's description. Inner ring diameter matches the 50 stadia exactly. 3 concentric circles of alternating land and water. If you squint at the topography, you can see harbor channels, ancient roads, temple foundations. YouTube videos multiply. Conspiracy theorists descend, and the Rishat structure becomes internet famous. Atlantis, found in the Sahara, gets millions of views. Comment sections explode with debates, believers versus skeptics, passionate arguments over grainy satellite photos. Scientific expeditions investigate further. Core samples reveal no human activity, no pottery shards, no metal tools, no evidence of large-scale agriculture or construction. The concentric pattern results from geological uplift and erosion, natural processes over millions of years. But natural doesn't sell documentaries. Spotted, measured, debunked. Number 7, the Bimini Road Phenomenon, 1968, AS, Bahamas waters. Marine archaeologist Manson Valentine flies over the Bahamas. 22 feet below the surface, he spots something impossible. Straight lines of rectangular stones, perfectly aligned, stretching for half a mile underwater. The Bimini Road, or is it the Bimini Wall? Depends who's talking. The discovery electrifies Atlantis hunters. Edgar Cayce predicted Atlantis would rise near Bimini in 1968 or 1969. The psychic reading from 1940 matches the discovery date exactly. Coincidence? Believers say no. Diving expeditions reveal more details. The stones are massive. Some weigh 15 tons. Rectangular blocks arranged in neat rows. Joints between stones look deliberately cut. The formation extends beyond the visible sections, possibly much larger structures buried under sand. Carbon dating begins immediately. Marine geologists take samples. The results disappoint Atlantis hunters. The stones are natural limestone, beach rock formation, cemented sand and shell fragments. Age matches the post-glacial period, around 12,000 to 15,000 years old. But the arrangement looks artificial. Too neat for random geological processes. The joints are too precise, the alignment too perfect. Some blocks show tool marks, others have anchor holes drilled through them. Modern anchors, ancient construction, the debate rages. National Geographic funds expeditions. Universities send teams. The Bahamian government promotes tourism. Diving companies offer Atlantis tours. The site becomes a moneymaker regardless of authenticity. Advanced sonar mapping reveals the truth. The formations are natural, fracture patterns in limestone bedrock. Erosion creates the rectangular appearance. Rising sea levels submerged ancient shorelines. No human construction, no lost civilization. The tourism continues anyway. Divers pay hundreds of dollars to swim over natural rock formations. Tour guides point out temple foundations and ancient roads. The truth doesn't matter. The story sells trips, photographed, tested, commercialized. Number 8, the Black Sea Deluge Theory, 5,600 BCE, Eastern Mediterranean. William Ryan and Walter Pittman publish Noah's Flood in 1998. Their theory connects biblical flood stories to real geological events. The Black Sea was once a freshwater lake, much smaller than today. Then, catastrophe struck. Around 7,600 years ago, rising Mediterranean waters breached the Bosphorus. A natural dam failed. Seawater poured through the narrow strait. The Black Sea level rose over 400 feet. Coastal settlements drowned in months. Hundreds of thousands of people fled. Could this be the source of flood legends? Not just Noah, but Atlantis too. Plato describes civilization destroyed by water in a single day. The Black Sea deluge happened fast enough, violent enough, traumatic enough to echo through oral traditions for thousands of years. Robert Ballard investigates in 1999. The same explorer who found the Titanic searches Black Sea depths. His team discovers ancient shorelines, freshwater mollusk shells, evidence of the catastrophic flood. But something more interesting emerges. Preserved shipwrecks. The Black Sea's deep waters are anoxic, no oxygen, no decay. Wooden structures survive intact for thousands of years. If cities existed on the ancient shoreline, they should be perfectly preserved under 400 feet of water. Sonar surveys map the submerged landscape, ancient river valleys, coastal plains, deltas where rivers once reached the smaller lake, the perfect environment for Bronze Age settlements, the right depth for preservation, the right timeline for cultural memory. But the cities aren't there. No ruins, no foundations, no pottery shards in significant quantities. A few scattered artifacts, evidence of human presence, but not major settlements. Certainly nothing matching Atlantis' scale. The flood happened. The settlements drowned, but they were villages, not empires. Fishing camps, not golden cities. The survivors carried flood memories across cultures, but they weren't describing Atlantis. They were remembering home, drowned, preserved, remembered. Number 9, the Malta megalithic connection, 3800 BCE, Central Mediterranean. Malta holds secrets older than Stonehenge. The temple complexes predate the pyramids by 1,000 years. Massive limestone blocks, sophisticated engineering, advanced astronomical alignments. Then, around 2500 BCE, the civilization vanishes. Complete abandonment. The temples stand empty for centuries. Could Malta be connected to Atlantis? The timeline doesn't match Plato's account, but the mysterious disappearance fits. Advanced Bronze Age culture. Sudden end. No clear explanation for the abandonment. The temples reveal sophisticated knowledge. Acoustic engineering. The Hippodrome underground complex amplifies sound at specific frequencies. Architectural precision. The Menajra temple aligns perfectly with solar events. Mathematical concepts. The builders understood complex geometry. But Malta is too small. Too close to established civilizations, too well documented in later periods. The Romans knew it, called it Melita, used it as a naval base. No mystery about location, no lost continent, just abandoned temples and empty villages. Archaeological evidence suggests climate change drove the abandonment. Cooling temperatures, reduced rainfall, agricultural failure. The population couldn't sustain itself. They migrated to Sicily or North Africa. Survival, not catastrophe. The temples remain tourist attractions. UNESCO World Heritage Sites, but not Atlantis. Just another Bronze Age culture that couldn't adapt to environmental change. Built, abandoned, preserved. Number 10, the Minoan Egyptian connection, 1500 BCE, Eastern Mediterranean. New evidence emerges from Egyptian records. Hieroglyphic inscriptions mention the people of the sea, maritime raiders who attacked Egypt around 1200 BCE. The pharaoh Ramesses III fights them off, but barely. Who were these sea peoples? Where did they come from? Linear B tablets from Pylos describe naval preparations, emergency measures, coastal watchtowers. The Mycenaean Greeks knew something was coming. A seaborne threat, multiple ships, professional warriors. Then the tablets stop. The palace burns. The civilization collapses. Could the sea peoples be survivors of Atlantis? Not Plato's fictional island, but a real maritime confederation. Bronze Age naval powers that controlled Mediterranean trade routes. Their collapse triggered the Bronze Age ending around 1200 BCE. The evidence multiplies. Sardinian Nuraghi, Corsican Tor, Balearic Taliots. Megalithic towers across the western Mediterranean. All built around the same period, all abandoned around the same time. A connected maritime culture spanning islands and coastlines, but the towers aren't palaces, they're fortifications. Defense against raiders, not homes for kings. The builders were hiding, not ruling. Victims of the Bronze Age collapse, not its cause. DNA analysis of Bronze Age remains reveals population movements, migrations from east to west, Anatolian refugees reaching Sicily, Aegean islanders settling in Sardinia, but no genetic evidence of a unified Atlantic civilization. The sea peoples remain mysterious, their origins unclear, their destinations unknown, but they weren't from Atlantis. They were fleeing the same forces that would have destroyed Atlantis if it existed, attacked, scattered, vanished. The trail leads back to where it started. Plato's Academy, Athens, 350 BCE. One man's imagination creating humanity's most enduring mystery. Recent analysis of Plato's dialogues reveals the political allegory clearly. Atlantis represents naval empire. Athens represents land-based virtue. The conflict symbolizes Plato's ideal state defeating corruption through moral strength. The destruction serves as warning against hubris and greed. Archaeological evidence supports the allegory theory. No Bronze Age civilization matches Atlantis' description. No catastrophic event eliminates a major power in the Atlantic around 9000 BCE. No ancient source before Plato mentions the continent-sized island, yet the search continues. New theories emerge annually. The Mediterranean, the Black Sea, the North Sea, the Caribbean again. Each location offers tantalizing parallels. None provide the smoking gun. The obsession costs millions in funding, thousands of expedition hours, decades of scientific research diverted from documented civilizations. Real Bronze Age cultures remain understudied while imaginary ones capture headlines. But maybe that's the point. Atlantis isn't about finding a lost civilization. It's about needing to find one. The human desire for golden ages, advanced ancestors, proof that we've fallen from greater heights. Every generation projects its hopes onto Plato's invention. The mystery endures because it serves us. Documentary crews need content, tourism boards need attractions, publishers need bestsellers, universities need funding. Atlantis provides all of them. Recent underwater surveys continue mapping ocean floors. LiDAR technology penetrates jungle canopies. Satellite archaeology identifies ancient sites from space. Real civilizations emerge from these searches. Mayan cities in Guatemala, Roman settlements in Britain, Viking harbors in Greenland, but none of them carry Atlantis' cultural weight. None inspire the same passionate searching. None promise the same revelation about human potential and loss. The search will continue. New technologies will probe deeper. New theories will emerge. New expeditions will launch. The results will remain the same. No Atlantis, just the need for one. In 2019, marine archaeologists discovered a perfectly preserved Bronze Age settlement off the Turkish coast, multi-story buildings, advanced engineering, sophisticated art, sudden abandonment around 1500 BCE, everything the Atlantis hunters claimed to seek. The discovery made headlines for a week. No tourism boom, no documentary series, no best-selling books. Real archaeology can't compete with eternal mystery. Plato knew what he was doing.